Coming up on today's show, let's talk about Cesaro. Cesaro, shockingly, is gone from WWE. Let's get to that full episode right now. Hey everybody, welcome to Assemble. I'm Matt. Good to have you. If you're joining us here live on YouTube, youtube.com/Assemble Show. I appreciate you guys all being here, and we are talking about some pretty big news. I was going to do a different episode. I was going to talk about like Stone Cold Steve Austin, WrestleMania. I was going to talk about Cody Rhodes. That's clearly all old news and no one is caring anymore. The world has shifted. It's all about the Swiss Cyborg. Cesaro is shockingly gone from WWE. This happened today as of Thursday, February 24th, time of the recording. And in some shocking news, PW Insider is reporting that Cesaro is gone from WWE following the expiration of his contract. The report says that Cesaro and WWE were unable to come to terms on a new contract after negotiations. And since this contract expiring, there will be no 90-day non-compete clause. Ladies and gentlemen, AEW confirmed. No, he's not confirmed, just like Veer is not confirmed to come. Cesaro is gone, everybody, and he did not re-sign, and the article that I'm citing is coming over from WrestleTalk and PW Insider. The Swiss Superman signed with the company all the way back in 2011, which is crazy to think about. After a brief stint in developmental territory in FCW, Cesaro then made it all the way up to main roster for 2012. And he has done so much in his career. U.S. champion, multi-time tag team champion, first-time Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winner. Back when they were trying to do something for the Battle Royal, but now it's just a thing that just happens. He last appeared on SmackDown for February 11th when he lost to Happy Corbin, which just seems to be a thing that a lot of people do nowadays. And in the interim and what's been going on lately too, as most of you know, he's also been kind of teaming up with Ricochet on SmackDown here and there, just doing whatever. It's a real shame, and I say it's a real shame, but it's a real loss for WWE to lose Cesaro, to not come to terms on a contract deal. There was word last year of Cesaro, and I think this is what made a lot of us scratch our heads at first, was that Cesaro's contract he resigned. We thought that he had resigned for multiple years, that there was a brewing of his contract coming up for renewal, and then we all assumed that he signed a multi-year deal, and we obviously knew that he did resign, but it looks like he did sign a 1-year deal. And, come to the full 1-year timeline, he is done and he's out. So the $1 million question is, number one, I will say, I am a longtime Cesaro fan, Cesaro section all the way. I've seen Cesaro live on like WWE Raw that I've gone to before a couple of times. He is a wonderful performer. He's good on the mic. He doesn't get a lot of opportunity in that regard. I don't think he gets for a lot of opportunity when it comes to showcasing what he can do for entertainment and all of that, because what he does off WWE TV, he's very entertaining when you watch him on streams and everything. But Cesaro's in-ring work, I feel, and I think everybody that he works with always puts him over as like the strongest in WWE. He puts on phenomenal matches. Remember the run that he was having when he was going on and having matches on Raw against like John Cena? He would tear the house down. He's amazing. I hope that whatever Claudio is doing, whatever Cesaro does, he's doing because he wants to do it. It's where he wants to be. If it is wrestling or it's going to be time off or it's whatever. As long as the man's doing, he's happy and he's doing what he wants to do and he's making money doing whatever he wants to do. Awesome for him. As a fan, it is a shame to see that he will not be on WWE TV anymore. However, the upside, where's he going to go? And the big upside, in my opinion, sitting over here, he has no 90-day non-compete clause. The man can go virtually anywhere. The question would be to all of you, if you're watching live or if you are joining us here on the podcast itself, Assemble Show Podcast, it's all wrestling. Where does he go? That's the question to all of you. Where do you see him? Where will Cesaro go if you think that he will just turn around and go with another company? Could this be the rumored AEW surprise that Tony Khan posted on Twitter just the other day, just saying that he's under NDA and he can't talk about it? I don't think so, personally. I think the doors are wide open. And if you are joining us live, you guys have amazing ideas in here, and I'm with you. I can see him in any promotion, and frankly, any promotion is going to be lucky to have him on their roster. I started thinking, and my gut reaction was AEW. He's going to AEW. AEW confirmed. But then I started thinking about it a little bit more. And right now, if he showed up in AEW, then at Revolution pay-per-view, I am not going to balk at it. I am not going to be upset. I would be so happy because he could probably show up in a big capacity and have amazing matches with other amazing in-ring talent. And what AEW is very known for is their in-ring product, where he can really, really shine. He is an established name globally. I think that he brings a ton to whatever promotion he goes to. If it's AEW, I think he does very well. However, my fear is that if he goes to an AEW, they are very, very top heavy with top talent. And I feel like someone like a Claudio, a Cesaro, would run into an issue of being able to carve out enough time and be able to be showcased enough. That's just my perspective. That's what I would worry about. Whereas I could see him, and where I'd be more interested to see is if he went over to something like New Japan. If he went over to New Japan, I say New Japan only because I think of just the absolute hard-hitting matches and having strong style matches in Japan and experience everything over there with the talent. I think that would be a fantastic move, even if it was for a short time, because we've seen that with other stars that go over to New Japan. They will go and wrestle there for a few months, and then, they wound up in other promotions. And I can see that, like the likes of Jericho, who would go and have a couple of huge profile blockbuster matches like he did at the time with like Kenny, and get over then to AEW once it was actually formed. I could see Cesaro doing something very cool like that. Frankly, I think if he went over to like Impact, I think Impact is also a great option. And I say that because Impact's doing a lot of really good stuff right now. It's a fun show. I think, and I could be wrong, but I think that there's also rumblings of Impact trying to get their show on the road a little bit more and getting out of the Impact zone. Because I would love to be Impact to be back on a larger stage. Even if it's just a larger arena or they're traveling around to a few different arenas. I wish they would just kind of increase the scale of Impact a little bit, because it's so tight. And I understand it, and it creates a different type of product, which is good. But I could see Cesaro showing up in Impact and, blowing the roof off the place. That would get eyeballs on that product. And he'd be a big fish and a big get for Impact Wrestling. Travel restrictions, I think, with New Japan might play an issue there, potentially. I don't know how it is right now when it comes to COVID and international travel. I can't keep up with everything all the time. But I think that you could see him in any number of promotions. The other one out there, too, is Ring of Honor. And what is Ring of Honor? Go back to his grassroots of Ring of Honor. When Ring of Honor is going to do kind of a re-debut and press the restart button around April, supposedly, maybe does he show up in a Ring of Honor? That guy should be shot right to the top, right? But the other thing that's in there too, everybody, at least from where I'm sitting, what's really, really cool and really fascinating is that we could see Cesaro, if he showed up in these other promotions of a New Japan, of a Ring of Honor, of a Impact. They have all had working relationships lately with AEW. So this is where I feel like it wouldn't be a bad thing necessarily if you saw Cesaro go somewhere else other than AEW, stretch out a bit, get his name floating around, and work at a couple of different promotions, even for a short term, and then boom, have him go over to AEW. It's too bad to see Cesaro go, and more so that like I said, I think it just seems to be the way with WWE lately. They've had talent here like a Cesaro that have been around for quite some time now. His contracts come up, and I'm sure it is not a small contract for a guy of how long he's been working there. Then I imagine that it costs a lot, and WWE is not in the business right now of pushing out giant deals like they were doing before. They have been stripping down talent, kind of everywhere they can. And that's fine from a business perspective. I don't want anybody to lose their jobs, though. And Cesaro is a great talent, a great hand, and I'm glad he's been able to have the matches that he kind of wanted to have, where he's had like the Seth Rollins matches, he's had the Roman Reigns matches. That's awesome. But I do wish that WWE would have done more with him, especially when he was, I don't want to say like in his prime, but when the spotlight was really, really put on him a lot more, and being able to really do something with him. I also think that like even lately, if none of this happened, we could have easily moved Cesaro to Raw and had him in the upper mid card. That upper mid card on Raw is stacked, by the way. And I would have loved to see him over there, but it is what it is, right? So we'll have to wait and see what he's going to do and what Cesaro will do going forward. I'd love to see him do a number of things in different promotions, but I'd love to know what everybody else thinks. It's a big day. It shocked a lot of us, I think. I didn't see that coming. And I think the big question is, with no 90-day non-compete clause, where will he end up? Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everybody. If you want to tune in next week to our podcast, it's right here over on Apple Podcast services. You're tuned in. If you guys enjoy the show too over on Apple Podcasts, get a star rating and all that stuff. Leave a comment, leave a review. Helps the show as we grow. Thanks for listening. But let me know what you think of Cesaro leaving WWE and where he might end up. And we'll see you later.